May God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ give you grace and peace. The third word of Jesus from the cross. The reading is from John's Gospel, chapter 19, verses 25 through 27. Standing near the cross were Jesus' mother and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, "Woman, here is your son." And he said to this disciple, "Here is your mother." And from then on, this disciple took her into his home. Mary had given birth to this man, now hanging in agony on a cross. She had carried him for 9 months in her womb and bore the pains of labor as she delivered him into the world. She had listened to the words of the angel as she was told that he would be called Great and Holy and Son of the Most High. She may have faintly heard the singing of the multitude of angels at his birth and welcomed the curiosity and humble worship of the shepherds who had come in from their fields to see this newborn babe, whom the angel had told them was Christ the Lord. She took to heart the prophecy of Simeon at the temple purification of her baby 40 days after his birth, when Simeon said, "This child is chosen by God for the destruction and the salvation of many in Israel. He will be a sign from God which many will speak against." She had felt the anxiety of a parent who can't find their child when Jesus was 12 years old and remained in the temple while his parents began the journey home to Nazareth. Later she witnessed Jesus performing miracles, the first one being when he changed the water into wine at the wedding in Cana. Luke's Gospel tells us, Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. Mary also heard the other words of Simeon's prophecy when he said, "And a sword will pierce through your own soul also." Perhaps she had wondered through the years what those words meant. Why would her soul be pierced? What did that mean? Now she knew the answers to her questions. The time had come. As her son's hands and feet were pierced with the nails of the cross, so her heart and soul were pierced as she witnessed his agony and felt her own as she watched her firstborn die before her eyes. There are not enough words to describe the excruciating pain. What do you know of grief, you who have never lost a child? Mary loves God. She's always loved God. God blessed her for her faith. God chose her to bear the child who has grown into this man Jesus, Christ the Lord. Her spirit has rejoiced in that honor. She described herself as a servant of the Lord. She has praised God for his goodness and generosity. But why is this happening? What has her son done to deserve this suffering, this humiliation, this pain? Why is God allowing this to happen? Why is God doing this? Is it God's fault? Is Mary able to pray, "Thy will be done"? Is she able to say again, "Let it be to me according to your word," as she said to the angel when she was being told she would bear this child? Does her faith in God's love enable her to persevere through the heartbreak? It must do. Mary remains at the foot of the cross. She can't abandon her son. She loves him. Love is the soul of courage. She believes in him. She believes him to be the Christ, the Son of the living God. Mary was probably a widow. The Bible presents a widow as one in need of justice and consideration, protection and provision, and is to be honored and respected. Under Mosaic law, care of the widow was left to relatives and was one of the duties assigned to the eldest son, who received the birthright. One would think that it's a little strange that none of Jesus' brothers or sisters were at the cross to at least support their mother, if not Jesus. But John's Gospel tells us in chapter 7, verse 5, that not even his brothers believed in him. The only people with Mary are 3 women and John: Mary's sister, whom some believe to be Salome, the mother of the sons of Zebedee, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. John, the disciple whom Jesus loved, is standing next to them. Jesus sees him. Even in this time of excruciating pain, as he hangs on the cross, Jesus thinks of his mother and demonstrates his love for her. For Jesus to call his mother woman is not as harsh in the Greek as it sounds in the English. It implies no hostility or rudeness, but is more a term of respect or affection. Even from the cross, Jesus teaches us by his own example. He gives us a lesson on how to keep the 4th commandment, to honor our father and our mother. Jesus gave his mother Mary to the disciple who had remained faithful and true to the foot of the cross, John, who was probably the youngest of the 12 disciples. Tradition tells us that not only did John, this disciple whom Jesus loved, bring Mary into his home and into his life, but that he never forsook Jesus' trust and remained in Israel until the mother of his Lord was dead. Like all the disciples, Mary didn't know where there would be a resurrection Sunday. She is left bereft but not childless. Her son has demonstrated the depth of his love by providing for her. To quote one commentator, Jesus has discharged the debt of human love in the hour of his deepest passion. He could not say, "It is finished," until he has said, "Woman, behold thy son." Amen.